In today's lesson, we're going to be solving a system of equations using real-world scenarios and reading word problems and being able to come up with a system of equations and solving it in standard form. All right, and number one, it says Jenna babysits and works at a coffee shop. 1 week she babysat for 4 hours and served coffee for 10 hours and earned a total of $127. Another week she babysat for 8 hours and served coffee for 8 hours and earned $140. How much does she make per hour at each job? So we have to define our X's and Y's first. We have to figure out the two things we are looking for. So the two things we are looking for, and usually they ask that in the end question, is we're going to let X be that. Now the last question asks how much does she make per hour at each job. So X is going to be the coffee wage, her coffee shop wage. That's how much money she's gonna make at the coffee shop. Y is gonna be, what's the other job she has? She has babysitting. So babysitting wage. So we're trying to figure out how much she makes serving coffee and how much she makes babysitting. Now in the first equation, all right, it says she babysat for 4 hours and served coffee for 10 hours and earned a total of 127. So 4 hours serving coffee, how much money she's going to earn is going to be 4x plus 10y, 10 hours for babysitting, 10 hours times her babysitting wage. It's going to equal a total of $127. And again, it's an equation in standard form, just like we've been doing before when we're solving equations in standard form. The other equation, she babysat for 8 hours and served coffee for 8 hours. So to be careful, now we're lucky that these are both the same number, but she served coffee for 8 hours. So I'm going to use this 8 first. So we have 8x plus babysitting for 8 hours. 8y is 140. Right, she earned 140 for that. Okay, so we have our system of equations now. We look at the coefficients. None of them cancel right away, but what we can do is multiply the top by -2 so that we get negative 8x and 8x to cancel. So I'm going to distribute a -2 to all three terms. So we get negative 8x minus 20y is negative 154. No, I'm sorry, 254. All right, just double checking the calculator. Yep, 254 negative. All right, rewrite my other equation right below it. 8x plus 8y equals 140. Line them up. Alrighty, these cancel. So we get negative 20y plus 8y is 12y. Negative 12y. Negative 254 and 140. So 140 minus 254 is negative 114. Divide both sides by negative 12. Oops. And you get 9.5. It's okay to get a decimal. That means it's what does that actually mean? 9.5 means her babysitting wage is $9.50. That's how much she's making per hour babysitting. Okay, now we got to find the coffee shop wage. So we're going to plug it back in. What color I'm going to use? Let's use blue. Now, when you plug this back in, I would plug it back into one of the original equations. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do the 10. That's easy to do in top of my head. 9.5 times 10 is 95. So we have 4x plus 10 times 9.5 equals 127. Running out of room here. I'm able to write it. All right. So we have 4x plus 95 is 127 minus 95 from both sides. All right. So we get 4x. I'm too lazy to do this in my head. So it's 32. Divide both sides by 4. And you get x is 8. That means her coffee shop wage is $8 per hour. So it's important we're able to interpret what we're answering in this scenario. She's making $8 an hour for serving coffee, and she's making $9.50 for babysitting. So that was a problem where the equations were nice laid out for us, and it was simple to make those standard form equations. Now the next one, we have to do a little bit more digging to come up with our two equations. All right, so it says Mrs. Kiesler went shopping for rulers and scissors. She bought 30 items in all. Rulers cost 50 cents and scissors cost $1.25. She spent a total of $31.50. How many rulers and how many scissors did she buy? So automatically, my let statement, I'm going to have my X be how many rulers. So it says how many rulers and scissors did she buy? So it would be the number of rulers. Y is going to be the number of scissors. Spelled that wrong. Now, this one is a little different in coming up with the equation. We know she has 30 items in all. So to come up with an equation, that means when you take the number of rulers and the number of scissors and add them together, it's going to be 30. The number of rulers plus the number of scissors, those are the total number of items, is going to be 30. All right. So that's one of the equations. The other equation involves the price. Rulers cost 50 cents. So the price of rulers is going to be 0.50 x. Scissors cost $1.25 plus 1.25 y. That's the price of the scissors. The total price is going to be $31.50. So there's my two equations in standard form. All right. Now, if you would like, you can do this. You can write the ones at the beginning to help you see the coefficients. Okay. So what I do, we have 50 cents goes into 1x. You can multiply that by 2. That's what I would do. Or you could do the other way around. You could multiply the top equation by 0.50. You would get the same answer. Again, there's multiple ways you can solve these equations. All right. I'm trying to avoid these ugly decimals. So I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. Because I know 2 times 0.5. Oh, not just 2. Negative 2. I don't have enough room to write that. No. So there we go. Negative 2. So I'm going to multiply each term by negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite my equation up here. 1x plus 1y equals 30. Multiply each of the bottom numbers coefficients by -2, you get -1x minus 2.50, 2.5y equals -63. Right? 31.5 times 2 is 63. Okay, line those up. X's cancel. Negative 1y minus 2.5y is -1.5y. 30 minus 63 is -33. Divide both sides by -1.5. You get 22. That means I have 22 scissors. All right, plug this back in, figure out the the number of rulers. I would plug it into the top one. That's a lot easier. All right, so we have x plus 22 is 30 minus 22 from both sides, and you get x is 18. Nope, 8. 8. So the number of rulers is 8. So there's 30 items in all. 8 plus 22 is 30. 50 cents for rulers, that's $4. $1.25 times 22 is 27.5. So that's going to add up to $31.50. So that's a good way to double check our answers. All right. So, and again, these equations, this one's a little bit more difficult coming up with the two equations, but you could still decipher the information from the word problem and be able to write two equations in standard form. Okay. So with the rest of these problems, again, you're creating two equations in standard form, solving them like we've done before. Toughest part is just coming up with these equations. All right. So that's it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know in class.